I'm Billy Hollowell. Welcome to Pure Talk. I am here today with Clare Niederpruem, director of Little Women. How you doing?
I'm so good. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming out here. So this is your directorial debut.
It is.
This is huge. This is huge.
Yes, it's very exciting and very nerve-wracking. But yeah, this is the first film that I co-wrote and directed. So.
And you picked a story that so many people know. It was written in the 1800s.
Yes.
Popular book.
Yes.
And you chose to do some really interesting things with this story. The main thing, bringing it into modern times, right?
Yeah.
Bringing it into today. So now we're going to take a look at a clip from the film Little Women.
What's that smell?
I propose an oath to always help each other reach our castles, no matter where they may be.
We go through all these stages of learning and shifting and changing.
Oh, how I've missed my Little Women.
And then we become something far from perfect, but perfectly unique.
We each have our own paths to our castles.
I guess let's start with why you chose Little Women. Why was that your...
Yeah, so you know, I grew up loving the story of Little Women, reading the book and watching the film adaptations with my mom and with my cousins and girlfriends, which I think most women out there have that same experience with the story. But then I reread it as an adult and I really related to the story today with the relationships with women that I have today and growing up. And I thought, you know, what would it be like to take this story and see this family in 2018? And I went to one of a filmmaker friend that I know, Christy Shimmick, and we started writing the script together just to see, like, okay, could we pull this off? Can we?
Is it doable?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Because you know, sometimes you have these creative ideas and you start to do them, and you know, I mean,
Yes.
Sometimes they work and sometimes
In your head,
they
it
don't.
sounds so good,
Yeah.
and you start doing it like, what was I thinking?
This is genius. Oh wait, no. But it worked. You know, we thought, okay, what would this family look like today? You know, we took the major themes of the book, then took some of the plot points and thought, okay, how would that adapt to today? And we were just so inspired by the novel. And we were really happy with what we came up with. And then, you know, I mean, to get any movie made is a miracle, especially any independent film. So we were really lucky that we got it off the ground and we were able to find the cast and find the support to, you know, bring it to life.
Well, and speaking of the cast, because I think the unique challenge you had is you have characters that a lot of people, like you said, everybody knows these characters and they know them in the setting and the context of the book and in a different time and environment. And so how did the casting work? How difficult was it to sort of take a character and say, now we need to find somebody who's going to be able to do this in modern times?
Yeah, so of course these characters are iconic, each four of the sisters and the mother especially. You know, we knew it was going to be a struggle to find the right people to portray these roles. And so we held auditions and we saw lots of talented people. But in the end, it was really the actors that we chose, Sarah Davenport, who's our Jo, and Allie Jennings, who's our Beth, and the other sisters, they really brought something unique to the role. So instead of like trying to mimic what they had seen of their characters, they really brought their own individuality into it, and that was something really special. And Leah Thompson, I mean, the fact that she came on board and did this film was amazing, and I'm so grateful to her for believing in me, because, you know, a lot of actors don't want to work with first-time directors. It's a challenge. But she had read the script, and I had reached out to her, and I said, I just think you would be perfect for this role. And we met for coffee one morning, and I just saw her and she gave me a hug and I just felt like, okay, yes, you're supposed to be, you know, the mother figure of this film, and she was definitely that. And we were so lucky to have her because, you know, she really grounded the film and brought everyone together. And then we also had Lucas Grabeel, who plays Laurie, the boy next door. Him and I have been friends for a little while, and I sent him the script and he really connected with it. And again, he too wanted to bring something new to the role. And so it was really just about everyone, you know, finding themselves in the role as well.
So there's sort of two things going on. It's pulling from that history of the character, but then figuring out, you know, how do they uniquely fit that bill themselves, right?
Exactly. You know, it's like stealing from the best, but then making your own art out of it.
Exactly,
in a way,
exactly.
Right? Like,
What was it like for you, you know, first-time director? Well, and obviously you've been around Hollywood and performing, and it's another side of that. So what was that process like for you coming into this? I'm sure it was helpful that you were able to co-write it, so you knew it intimately.
Yes.
But take me through some of that.
Yeah, so I mean, I first got into this business as an actress, and then really out of like creative frustration, I started writing, which sometimes brings out the best writing, as you know. And so once I did that, I thought, you know, I already had envisioned the movie in my mind, because when you're writing it, you can see it, you know, you play it out in your mind.
Like any good story that you're writing.
Like any good story, exactly. And luckily I had the support around me, and I said, I want to direct this film. And I kind of waited for someone to be like, no.
Like, what do you mean?
Exactly.
It costs a lot of money to do that. It's really difficult.
Exactly. Like it's you know, one of the biggest roles on set, and everyone was just very supportive. And I think it was because I felt so inspired by the story, and it was something I could talk about, and it was something I was so passionate about. And I think when people see that, they trust that you're going to take care of the story.
Absolutely.
You know, if you care enough about it, if you're passionate enough about it, and if you surround yourself by good people, then you know you can undertake it. So,
Absolutely.
and directing is a very difficult job. You know, you're really doing a lot of different jobs within it. And you have to be a leader. You know, one thing I realized as I was directing is like, oh, this is part of the job besides the artistic part is keeping everyone's spirits up. And I didn't realize that until about a week into filming, and we had this moment on set and everyone was stressed out, not knowing what to do or angry. And I was like, oh, this is where you have to step in and you have to be a leader. And that was something new for me to learn, but I really enjoyed it.
It's a great lesson, you know, it's a great lesson.
Exactly.
And it prepares you for the future.
Exactly. You know, and you want people to do their best work, and in order to do that, you have to support them.
Exactly.
You know, and you have to give them the confidence that they need to
do that.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the values, because I think the reason that stories become iconic is because there's something about them that is transcendent of the time and the place that they happen, right? So whether it's the 1700s or the 1800s, I mean, goodness, there's a whole Bible with stories that people still see, right?
Exactly.
Connections to. And with this story, I wanted to ask you what values you think carry through into the modern version of it, and what you're hoping those values speak to with the audience.
Yeah, so the story of Little Women, to me, it's about nothing and it's about everything, right? It's about this family and growing up, and these four sisters, and the difficulty of hope and dream and family and love and loss, you know? And those big themes are what we wanted to take. And you know, the four sisters are very distinctive personalities, and yet they dream and they want different things in their future, but they're able to support each other through that, and they're able to support each other's differences, which I think is such a big lesson that we need today. And they're able to like explore and expand their dreams while knowing that like their family is the most important thing, and really where you're going to find the most happiness is in this home, and to keep this home a place of magic almost, you know, like a safe haven where you can try different things and you can be creative, but then also have the morals of knowing what's important, right?
Exactly.
Like knowing how to treat each other and being a good person and
that support
charitable.
system. That support system
yes,
too.
exactly. Like they were all about, you know, the mother was all about raising them to explore creative paths, but also like what you need to take care of your neighbors, and you need to take care of your sisters, and you need to take care of your mother and father. And you need to be a good person in society. And so we really wanted to take all of that and bring it to...
And that's timeless, right?
Oh, it's so timeless.
And it's so needed right now. There's so much division and fighting and chaos. And so to have that message in a film, you know, especially, you know, a film that will resonate with young women, I think right now is a really important thing. And you know, speaking of that, what is it like being a female director in Hollywood? I think there's been a lot obviously going on, not just in Hollywood, all over the country, all over the world, with the Me Too movement and lots of different things. So what was that process like for you coming into an industry that has been dominated by male directors?
It's actually a very exciting time to be a woman in this industry today and kind of see how things are shifting. because we're still trying to break through some of those barriers, you know, because it is a very male-driven world. But I feel very supported by the females and males that I have worked with, and I think that people are starting to shift their mindset into realizing, like, okay, we do need equal opportunity here, and sometimes the best people to tell women's stories are women. And I think that that's a very important thing that we're learning, but I feel that change, and I feel very hopeful about it. Like, I know there's been a lot of negativity about it, and I think it's great. We needed to be aware of some of the things that were going on, and people needed like a wake-up call, right? Like, exactly. I'm glad we've had our wake-up call, and now I'm like, I'm very hopeful and grateful that I think things are gonna change, and I already feel that change.
Sunlight's always a good thing, you know, when you're aware of what's going on, then you can try to fix it. Exactly,
and that's how I feel. It's like, okay, we know what we did wrong, and you know what, we're gonna try to make up for those mistakes, and we're gonna try to be more supportive. And I feel that from people, and I really encourage other female filmmakers to just put yourself out there and to be driven, and it's a great time for women to be able to pursue the dreams that they have and to be able to tell the stories that they want to tell. I mean, I'm very optimistic about it.
Absolutely.
I really am.
Absolutely.
And I think if we keep that optimistic nature of it, and I think if we stay grateful for what opportunities we're given, then you know,
you build from that, and you fix the problems you know. Absolutely.
And as a director, you know, I think people in their mind as a director, they have this vision of someone who's very bossy or maybe a jerk, for the lack of a better term. And I think that that isn't true, right? That's not what you need to get a good piece of art done. And really, sometimes it takes more sympathy and empathy.
And kindness.
And kindness and gratefulness. And I think that women will fall into that role very seamlessly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my last question for you, and you spoke to this a little bit, but I want to give you a chance to maybe speak to a little more.
Yes.
If a woman, mother and her children go to the movies, they see Little Women, they leave, what is it that you're hoping they're feeling, they're thinking, they're experiencing after seeing your film?
I want people to connect with each other. I want them to see the film and realize that the most important relationships that we have are faith, as well as their relationships with their mother and with the other females in their life, and that family is the most important thing, and that we really need to support each other no matter what.
Well, thank you so much, Claire. Really appreciate you coming down today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so fun. And yeah, I think it's going to be an amazing film for mothers to be able to take their daughters to, and I think that's a special thing today. You know, we need that bonding experience.
September 28th.
September 28th, yes. Please go see it, and I think you'll really enjoy it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And everybody else, thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you tune into next week's Pure Talk. You can go to facebook.com/PureFlix.
Here's the deal. PureFlix.com has 6,500 titles you can watch right now. That's way too many to show you in just 90 seconds, but you know what? Here we go.
I'm the man, you were the dog. I am talking to a dog.
How many times do you know the directions to your house, but you listening to the phone?